Once there was an old woman who had only one son, and she named that son Sean Eireann, which means John Cheerful. And that's the way that man always was, always with a good word for everyone, always with a smile for everyone. One day, when that young man became of age, that old woman said to him, Sean Eireann, as of tomorrow you become the age. As of tomorrow, off you must go. Off you must go to seek your fortune, to seek whatever else it is that you might be seeking, but as of tomorrow, out that door you must go. And so the next day, she gave him 3 brand new silver sixpences and a half of a loaf of bread, which she made the day before. And she waved her son farewell. And Sean Eireann began to walk off down the road, and he hadn't gone very far when he sees a beggar by the roadside. "Sixpence for a beggar, sir," he said. "Sixpence for a beggar," tugging the forelock of his hair. And Sean Eireann, without a thought about it, put his hand into his pocket, took out one of those brand new silver sixpences, and sent it spinning, flashing, turning in the light, and directly into the beggar's lap. "Ah, thank you very kindly, sir," he said. "Thank you very kindly. I'll pay you back for this one day for your kindness, sir. Sure I will, sure I will." And Sean Eireann said, "Think nothing of it, sir," and he walked away. Now he hadn't gone very far when he sees another beggar sitting by the roadside. "Sixpence for a beggar, sir," he said. "Sixpence for a beggar." And Sean Eireann, without another thought, put his hand into his pocket, brought out another one of those silver sixpences, and sent it spinning, flashing, turning into the light, falling directly into the beggar's lap. "Ah, thank you very kindly, sir," he said. "Thank you very kindly. I'll pay you back one day for your kindness, sir. I'll thank you for this." Sean Eireann said, "Think nothing of it, sir. Think nothing of it." And he walked away. Now he hadn't gone very far when he sees a third beggar by the roadside. "Sixpence for a beggar, sir," he said. "Sixpence for a beggar," tugging the forelock of his hair. And Sean Eireann thought, well, easy come, easy go. So he put his hand into his pocket and brought out his last and only silver sixpence and sent it spinning, flashing, turning, and directly into the beggar's lap. "Ah, thank you very kindly, sir," he said. "Thank you very kindly. I'll pay you back for this one day. Sure I will. Sure I'll thank you for your kindness yet." And Sean Eireann said, "Think never of it, sir. Think nothing of it." And off he went. Now he hadn't gone very much further when he sees a fourth beggar by the roadside. "Sixpence for a beggar, sir," he said. "Sixpence for a beggar." And Sean Eireann said, "Well, actually, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't have any money left, you see. I've just given it away to some other beggars, but I have this half a loaf of bread, which my mum made the day before, and if you would like, I will sit down with you and we can have it together." And so that is what they did. They sat by the roadside and they began to share the bread. But do you know who that beggar was? That beggar was no other than St. Peter himself. And St. Peter said to Sean Eireann, "Sean Eireann," he says, "I've been travelling all around the world, and the highways and byways performing the Lord's miracles, and I need someone to come with me. Would that be you, sir? Would that be you? Come on, Sean Eireann, what do you say? What do you say? I fancy that's your kind of thing. Come on, will you come with me? Will you come with me? What do you say, sir?" And Sean Eireann thought to himself, "I'm not doing that much. Okay, I will come with you." And so the pair walked on. Now they didn't go very far when they came to a great big mansion house, and all the people were outside. All the servants, all the maids were outside, and there was a wailing and then there was a moaning. Such a sorrowful sight. And they went there and they said, "Sir, can you tell me what's going on inside?" And he said, "Oh, don't you know, he said, "it's the laird's wee daughter. Oh, the poor wee soul, all the colour's gone out of her face. Her eyes are all sunk back. There's no colour in her lips. She's not long for this world." And St. Peter said, "Take me to see the girl." And they took him into the house, and they walked him upstairs and into the room of the girl. And she was lying there, not much in this world, more in the next. And he knelt down beside her and whispered in her ear, "This world or the next, the choice is yours." And just at that moment, the girl's eyes opened and her face came back full of colour. Her lips came back and she praised the Lord's names to the heavens. She was well again. Well, the laird of the house was so thankful for this that they decided that they were going to have a meal, a banquet, a feast for all the servants and for St. Peter and for Shan Aon. And he said to the servants, "Go and kill me a young lamb, and we'll have it this night." So they went off to kill the lamb, and they put it on the spit and to roast over the fire, and they left Shan Aon in charge of that. And as they were leaving Shan Aon in charge of turning the spit, St. Peter said to him, "Now mind you, make sure, Shan Aon, that no one touches this lamb until we're all ready together to eat it tonight." And Shan Aon says, "Sure, as long as I'm here, no one will ever touch this lamb. Sure enough, my name's Shan Aon, no one will touch this lamb." St. Peter says, "Now make sure about it." Well, he left. And Shan Aon began to turn the spit, and the smell was coming up of the roasting, and he could smell the juice, and he hadn't eaten for a long time apart from, well, what was basically a quarter of a loaf of bread. And his stomach began to rumble, and he could smell it as he kept turning, and just then the carcass of the lamb opened up, and there was a juicy heart inside, and he just couldn't help himself. Put his hand into the carcass and grabbed a hold of the heart and bit into it. Oh, the juice was coming down his mouth and coming down his fingers, and it was so wonderful. Now later that night, when they all sat at the table, St. Peter was given the job of carving up the meat for everyone. And as he began to put the knife and fork into it and began to cut, he said, "No, isn't that a strange thing? There's no heart in this lamb. Isn't that a strange thing?" And Shan Aon spoke up and said, "Oh, that's because these lambs don't have honey hearts." And St. Peter said to him, "Don't you talk to me like that." He says, "All God's creatures have got hearts." But, he says, "Don't you but me, don't you but me, don't you tell me about this dark age ignorance. I'm so surprised at you, Shan Aon." Well, they ate the food, and they rested that night. And the next morning, the laird of the house gave St. Peter 3 bags of gold. And St. Peter took 2 and gave 1 to Shan Aon, and they left together. And they didn't go very far when they came to a bridge that was washed out by the river. And St. Peter, of course, just walked straight across the water. Said, "Come on, Shan Aon, you could do this. If you've got the power and the love of the Lord in your heart, you could walk across here." Shan Aon is standing up to his knees in the water, and St. Peter saying, come on, you could do this. If you've got the power and the love of the Lord in your heart, you can walk across this water straight away. Come on, Shan Aon, I believe in you. Come on, Shan Aon. And now Shan Aon was up to his chest and up to his neck, and he said, come on, Shan Aon. And Shan Aon couldn't do it, but he managed to get to the other side of the water, soaking wet and crawling up onto the backside. And St. Peter laughing at him, going, ha, Shan Aon, you're such a fool, you are. You're such a fool. And Shan Aon was saying, but. And he said, never mind, don't but me. He said, but. And he says, and by the way, he says, I've got a bone to pick with you. Why did you, St. Peter, get 2 bags of gold and I only got 1? I was with you when we did this miracle. Why aren't we there together? We should be partners in this. And St. Peter said, but. And he said, no, don't but me either. You don't but me either. He says, there was 3 bags of gold there. We should have a 1.5 bags gold each. And St. Peter said, but the other bag of the gold was for the person who stole the lamb's heart. And he said, well, that was me. And St. Peter said, Shan Aon, I knew all along. And you are such a fool sometimes. He said, but you're a nice fellow. However, today it's time that we part. You will go your way and I will go my way. But because you're a nice fellow, I'm going to give you this little bag. Now this little bag is a magic bag. And whatever you say, get in that bag. Within the wind of your words, it will be in the bag. So he gave him the bag. He gave him the other bag of gold too, because he was the one who stole the heart, and St. Peter's fair. And they separated and went their own ways. Now Shan Aon Didn't go very far when he came to a big, big old house. And everyone was standing outside early in the morning. And he saw several people carrying a big door on their shoulders. And on the door, a body. "Sir, can you tell me what's going on there?" He says, "Oh, don't you know? No one can spend a night in this house and come back out alive." And Sean Eireann said, "Well, why would anybody want to do that? Why would anybody want to stay there?" He says, "Ah, but don't you know, there's a bag of gold and treasure for anyone who could stay there the night." And Sean Eireann thought, this is a good idea. He said, "I will stay the night here, I will stay the night here." And so, later that night, Sean Eireann is sitting in front of the fire with his slippers and smoking a pipe. And just as midnight comes, he can hear upstairs a music, a kind of winding, keening music. And he heard footsteps, and it sounded like people dancing. And the noise got louder, and the music got louder, and the steps got louder. And Sean Eireann said, "Will you stop that racket up there, or you'll be in trouble with me, Sean Eireann." And in the quietness that followed, a door opened upstairs, and 9 little devils came down the stairs to see who would dare speak to them in such a tone. And they came down, they saw Sean Eireann, they said, "So it was you, was it? It was you that was shouting at us?" He said, "Don't you poke me or you'll be in trouble, mind you. I'm telling you, my name's Sean Eireann, you'll be in trouble." "Oh, you don't like to be poked, do you? You don't like to be poked." And they picked up little sticks and they started to beat him with the sticks. And he said, "Don't you beat me, I'm telling you now, you'll be in trouble. This is Sean Eireann you're talking to, you'll be in trouble, I'm telling you now." They said, "Oh, you don't like to be beaten, do you? You don't like to be beaten." And Sean Eireann said, "Right, you devils, get in that bag now." And within the wind of his word, the 9 devils disappeared and were held inside the bag. So the next morning, everyone was so surprised when Sean Eireann walked out the door. And he got his treasure and he got his gold. But they asked him, "How did you do it?" And he told them about the bag. So they said, "Those devils are in the bag there." He said, "Yes." He said, "Give me that bag." And they started to beat it, and they started to stamp on it, and they started to play football with it, and they did every kind of thing. They beat it with sticks, they beat it with stones, and then down from the hills came a big, huge farmer, he was. Big, huge man with chains. And he came, and he said, "I hear that you've got those devils in those bags. They've been causing me a lot of trouble." And he took his chains, and he started to beat the bag. He said, "How do I know that they're in there?" And they opened up, and the devils came out. And he chased them all the way down the hills and over the valleys, and he'd never been seen again since. Now after that, Sean Eireann had many an adventure. Famous they are throughout all of Ireland. But then, as we all come to that part of our journey when we reach that crossroads. Should we go this way? Should we go that way? And when Sean Eireann's time came, he came to those crossroads. One road leading to heaven. And he thought to himself, I know who's going to be at the gates. St. Peter. It's not likely that I'm going to get into heaven, he said. So he thought, okay, I'll try my luck downstairs and see what it's like down there. So he took the road to hell. And when he got to the gates of hell, he knocked on the door and said, "Open up! My name's Sean Eireann. I've come to spend eternity with you." And then, in the quietness, a little doorway opened, and a little devil popped his head out the door. He said, "Oh my goodness, it's that Sean Eireann, it's that Sean Eireann, shut the door now, shut the door now. Don't let him in, you'll be in trouble if he comes in here, don't let him in at all, there'll be trouble, that's for sure, that's for sure." And they wouldn't let him in. So Sean Eireann thought, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? There's nothing else. I'll just try my luck upstairs. and see what happens. And so he went back to the crossroads and took the road to heaven. And as he approached the gates of heaven, St. Peter spies them. He said, there's a familiar face coming here. I know who you are, Sean Eireann. Come here. What are you doing here for, lad? What are you doing here, lad? What are you doing here? And Sean Eireann said, well, I tried my luck downstairs, but they wouldn't have me in. He said, so I thought I'd come back up here and see what you say. And St. Peter says, well, I haven't seen your name in the book. And if your name is not in the book, you know, you can't get in. So he took a look at the book and he searched page after page, name after name, couldn't find his name. He said, I'm sorry, Sean Eireann. He said, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to spend eternity as a ghost. And so Sean Eireann turned around and began to walk away, thinking about spending forever as a ghost. And he put his hand into his shirt pocket, pulled out his magic bag, threw it over his shoulders, and went spinning and turning over into the gates of heaven and to the other side. And then he said, Sean Eireann, get in that bag now. And within the wind of his words, Sean Eireann entered heaven and remained there forever. The